My Bali! Welcome to the first day of the largest South Asian festival in Canada and the second edition of Stay Home with Bollywood Monster Mashup presented by TD Bank Group. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the first of 4 days of Bollywood Monster family fun as we lead up to the Bollywood Monster concerts on Friday, September 10th and Saturday, September 11th at 6 p.m. My name is Dilshad Burman and I'm here to bring you your yearly dose of Bollywood Monster entertainment for the first day of our monstrous 6-day festival. We've got a really exciting day one planned with lots of Bollywood Monster family fun for the entire family. Joining us today, we've got Melissa Marie from Melissa Marie Dance, spelling bee prodigy Akash Vukoti, and visual artist Devika Mathur, along with some amazingly talented seniors from Monstrodity's Monster Arts for Seniors program. And now it's time to meet our very first Bollywood Monster family fun Ask Me Anything personality, Akash Vukoti. Akash is an Indian-American spelling prodigy and TV personality from San Angelo, Texas. Akash competed in his first spelling bee when he was just 2 years old. He's the first ever first grader to qualify and compete in the Scripps National Spelling Bee, and he's already qualified for the 93rd edition of that competition. Plus, he won the 32nd San Angelo area spelling bee this year. Akash has also been featured on several TV shows, including Little Big Shots UK, Steve Harvey, Harry, The Jimmy Kimmel Show, and The Kelly Clarkson Show. Now, a reminder that this interview is live, so you can send in your questions in the comments below and I'll try my best to get them all answered. Let's get those questions fired up and take a deep dive into the mind of a spelling prodigy coming right up on Bollywood Monster Family Fun. All right, welcome everybody to our very first Ask Me Anything session of this festival. It is my pleasure to be hosting this today. And with us today, we have Akash Vukoti. Akash, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello. First of all, namaste to Ms. Dilshad, to Bollywood Monster Mashup, and to all of the viewers participating in this Ask Me Anything session. I am very, very grateful to be here, and I truly thank Bollywood Monster Mashup for this wonderful opportunity to be here live, chatting with you all and participating in this hopefully very, very exciting and fun Ask Me Anything session.
Oh my gosh, you just took part of my job. That was such an amazing introduction to this session. I couldn't have said it better myself, Akash. So are you ready?
Thank you so much, Ms. Dilshad.
Absolutely. Please call me Dilshad. Miss Dilshad is a teacher that I wanted to be, but I never became. So Dilshad is totally fine. Akash, like I said, you have given us such a wonderful introduction to this Ask Me Anything session. So I think let's just jump right into it. Are you ready to field some questions?
Oh yes, I am as ready as I can be. So,
awesome.
Yeah, to everyone watching, please ask me anything.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to start with a few questions that we've had coming in on social media, and then we'll take some live questions as they come in. So let's start off with an easy one. When did you realize that you're really good at spelling?
Okay, so my parents say that I started reading and writing at a very early age, like when I was 1 or 2 years old, and
wow.
My first spelling bee was when I was 2.5 years old. Now, to the story of how I became interested and to how my parents figured out that I had this passion for languages and in particular for spelling. When we used to live back in Cleveland, Ohio, we always went to the Cleveland Public Library every so often, you know, to get books to read and whatnot. And there would always be a section just devoted to like little alphabet toys. And every single time we went there, I would just head straight for that section and I'd sit there and play with it for the entire time we were there. And when it was time to go, I would be feeling very sad because I really wanted to continue playing with this alphabet toys. And that's how my parents figured out that, hey, maybe something's interesting. Maybe he has this interest in the spellings and in the language and in the English alphabet. So sure enough, a little while later, they created this environment for me to excel in this field. And by that, I mean they bought me all the alphabet toys so I could just play with them all day long. And eventually they figured out about the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I began competing in spelling bees throughout the country. I started when I was 2.5 years old. And then from there, I became a member of the High IQ Society Mensa when I was age 3. And I became a Davidson Young Scholar when I was age 5. And then in 2016, I became my San Angelo area regional spelling bee champion. And then that same week, 2 hit shows that I did with Mr. Steve Harvey aired back-to-back on live national television. And that would be Little Big Shots. And then from there, things absolutely skyrocketed. It was
I love it. That's
that's
a big year. That's a big year. 2016 is a big year. So actually, we've already got some live questions coming in even before I can get to the other ones. So let's take them. People are really interested in you. Let's take Pratham's question. Pratham asked, do you have any tips on how to memorize really difficult words? Do you use a memorization technique? Do you have something that you can give people that they can use at home?
All right, this is a really, really good question, Dilshad, and I'll be happy to explain it. So a lot of these like very long and difficult words, these are usually the type that they will be asking at the Scripps National Spelling Bee. They're very, very difficult and really, really good words. Mm-hmm. And so these types of words, there aren't actually, here's the secret, there aren't actually that many words that are that hard in the dictionary. The dictionary contains about 500,000 words.
Right. I would for you. They're not difficult for you though. For people like us.
But the thing is, out of all of these, there are special little techniques. And one of these is called roots. So roots are like little mini words that come from different languages. So you can put all of them together and you can create a new word. So like, I'll take a simple example, like centimeter, which actually derives from the Latin centi, that means hundredth, and then meter, which is just a meter. So centimeter reads out centimeter, and that means, of course, 100th of a meter. So if you learn these roots, there are just so many words that you can make using just these. And so using these, you can create all sorts of new words. And so you'll master a lot more words that much quickly. But it's not just that, because there's another tip, and this comes in the form of spelling patterns. And so what these patterns do is that for every language, there will be a set of rules that dictate how each word would be spelled.
Right.
So since these correspond to the languages, if you hear, let's say, the word schnitzel, which is a very, very German sounding word, or poutine, which is a very French sounding word. It's French Canadian. So this word actually has several French spelling patterns. So the OU, that's oo, that sound will always be spelled OU in French. That's how it's most likely going to be spelled. And so you can use that you can use the spelling patterns, the roots, and just your overall intuition of what you think the word is going to be. Right. And combine all of those. And even if you don't know the word, you can still make a pretty accurate guess. And as for the few words that require rote memorization, well, yeah, that's pretty much. You just have to repeatedly see those words over again. And then that's how you can get those last few words in. And at that point, you've completed pretty much the whole dictionary. That is, I guess, the secret sort of to how it works.
I love that you say you can also figure it out with instinct. I think instinct has a lot to do with how much practice you have, how much you study, because my instincts can't even help me spell receipt. I don't know if the E comes before the I mess that up every single time, and I write for a living. So, so spell check is my best friend. All right, let's move on to another question. Thank you for that detailed answer. We've got some more questions coming in live here. Shanice asks, what is your favorite subject in school?
All right, so obviously my favorite subject would be English, or, English and the language arts, obviously, because I love spelling. But of course, aside from English, I really enjoy learning about geography. I really like learning and exploring the world that surrounds us. I find it very fascinating. Science is also a subject I'm very interested in, and math. To be honest, I'm interested in all the subjects.
That's good. That's good to be curious about the world and about everything. You have so much time to finally hone in on something you actually want to do. You have your whole life ahead of you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to some more live questions. So many coming in. Hia asks, how do you keep your memory so sharp? Are there any daily exercises that you do to keep your mind sharp?
Okay, this is actually, there's a technique called the spaced repetition system. And I usually prefer to call it the 5 times method or the 6 times method. So basically what you do is you just repeat seeing that word over and over again. So like the first interval is like right after you first seen the word, then the second one's maybe like a minute and then an hour, and then you can start extending that. And then you go to day and then week. And then by the time you've gone through the word that many times in the spaced repetition system, by the time you finish that, the word is pretty much ingrained into your mind. And now you can pretty much like spell it in your sleep.
Nice.
That's the spaced repetition system. And it's a good way to get your system. It's a good way to, get your brain and your memory psyched up and to learn these words. And by the way, I also have a YouTube channel where I do one word every day. So it's called the Word of the Day series, and you can just use this and just practice along, and you can learn one new word every day. You can go over it again. And then from that point onwards, I also made a video about memory as well, explaining this very trick, the 5 times and 6 times method. And that's the videos where I talk about this in further detail. So you can go ahead and check it out on my YouTube channel. It's just Akash Vukoti. And then
just going to say, what is your YouTube
talk
channel?
about short-term, long-term memory.
Beauty. That's a great answer. Okay. Let's see. Let's take a couple of more fun live questions here. Matthew asks, what is the longest word you know?
Okay. The longest word I know is actually the longest word in the dictionary. It's 45 letters long, and pneumono ultra microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. So this word is 45 letters long. It refers to a type of lung disease. And this is how you spell it. PNEUMONOULTRAMICROSCOPIC pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. And that is the longest word in the dictionary.
Oh my gosh, I will take your word for it. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to spell it, but I know that you're the champion, and so you know what you're talking about. That was fantastic.
Thank you so much, Bilsha.
Let's do another question here, because we have so many people interested in your brilliant mind. Let's take Muzna's question. Muzna asked, what other languages do you speak or like to spell in? I think we have some technical difficulties, but we're going to sort that out in 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
Okay, so did you catch that question? The question was, what other languages do you like to speak or spell in?
All right. So first of all, hello, Mosnaik, as the person who sent this question, because it's a very, very good one. So first of all, I read and write 3 different languages, English, Telugu, and Hindi fluently, reading and writing. And so it's not just that too. I also like to learn all sorts of languages. I mean, languages are my passion. I'm a self-learner and I really, really love to learn about it. I really want to learn, for example, Sanskrit.
Right.
Sanskritam is the language of ancient India. It's such a beautiful language, and I really want to learn it. As well as Korean, because my parents used to live in Korea early 2000s. So I also want to learn Korean too. For example, 안녕하세요. And then I really want to learn all sorts of languages. French is another one I'm interested in. Bonjour or salut.
French is, of course, our second
French accent.
Yes, our French is, of course, the other official language in Canada. So if you ever come down here, you'll be in good stead for sure if you learn French.
And also German, and then machine languages too, coding. I really love it too. And apparently a little while ago, I decided to create my own little language as well, because I've learned so much about it that I just want to try my hand at creating my own language. And so that's what I'm building right now.
And what is it called? Have you named it?
I named it Tuvinstanian. I know it sounds a little alien-like, but I'm just trying to see what I can do. It's like a little testing idea that I have for some sort of future, world language, so everyone can speak together.
I love it. I love that just the existing languages are not enough, so you have to make your own to add more challenge. I just love that. That's amazing.
Exactly. It's a challenge. I love challenges.
Amazing. Okay, let's move on to some more questions here. We have Gabby. Gabby asks, what is your favorite book, Akash?
Okay, what is my favorite book? All right, so there's a lot of books out there, and I really enjoy reading. One really good book that I've read is Bill Gates's The Road Ahead, which was made in the 1990s, and it kind of explains Bill Gates' visionary ideas, the path for what may as well happen sometime in the future. For what can we see? Because to be honest, the people who are the most innovative are the visionaries who can plan ahead of what's most likely going to happen in the future and work to build that today. And one of those people is Bill Gates. So in the book, The Road Ahead, he outlines a future. And this is back in 1990s. So for example, phones weren't there back then, right, but he has the concept for sort of wallet phone, like a phone that you can have in your wallet. And that is pretty much what we now call our smartphones. So it's like that, and all sorts of innovative ideas and what we can see in the future. So it's one of my favorite books.
That's a good book for sure.
Also another one of my favorite books is none other, and this is my favorite, one of the greatest books of all time actually, is none other than Wikipedia, the free. I know it is online and it does count as a book because it's an encyclopedia. And the best part is anyone can edit it. You have citations, so that proves that the material in Wikipedia is verifiable. And not just that, it's all sorts of valuable information about any and every topic. I search on Wikipedia every day. In fact, one of my first paychecks that I've ever sent was to Wikipedia, a donation of $50.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That was all the way back in 2015.
That's wonderful. And I mean, Wikipedia is like a living document, right? As new information becomes available, you can edit the document, you can add more details, you can change things as new information comes along. So you're right, Wikipedia is a really great resource for sure.
Exactly.
Okay, and let's go on to some more questions. We're running out of time, oh my gosh. Matthew asks, do you use Latin or Greek roots more?
Do you use Latin or Greek roots more? So in the dictionary, I'd say about, I think 50 to 60% of the words in the dictionary are from Latin, and then another 20 to 30% are Greek, and then the rest that goes from there. And by the way, Matthew, that is a very, very good question, because to be honest, there are some words that can be, like a Latin or Greek, and it can mean the same thing. And of course, you have words that come from Middle English and German and Dutch. And then French. French is actually, after Latin and Greek, the third most common origin for words in the English language is French. Yeah. So Latin and then Greek and then French. And then from there, it's a wide assortment of different languages. It all depends on like history. Yes. English, there's so many different forces and everything dependent on history, from like the Celtics who brought in like Norse and then Welsh, Scottish, and then to the Romans who brought in Latin for a very, very long time. And then from there, the Germans and then the French, the Normans who brought in all of the French. And then from there, you go on and you see so many various places. English is like a modern day amalgamation, combination of all the other languages in the world. And
absolutely.
If you fall into one language, that's called English. And that's why it is the world's language, pretty much.
Yeah, you're totally right. Absolutely. And you know, I think when you look at English as a whole, you see all of these different influences just in our everyday language. Even a word, say, like fiance. We use it all the time, but it's really a French word, right?
It is.
So there's so many different influences that we don't even realize are part of the language that we use every day. So that's a great answer. Thank you, Akash. And then let's see. Okay, this is a cute one. Casey asks, what is your favorite part of spelling?
What is my favorite part of spelling? All right, this is a really, really good question, Casey. And so the favorite parts of spelling, really, there's so many benefits that there are to spelling, and the fact that there's so many great things about spelling. First of all, that you get to learn more about pretty much every subject.
Yeah.
Because you're mastering and learning all of these brand new words. And then especially one of my favorite parts is, this is why I use Wikipedia a lot, is because I want to learn more about these words. So that way I won't forget them. And so Wikipedia lets you learn way more about the subject and about these words. And so another one of the great benefits that there are to the spellings, and for those spelling bees, you know, you can make all sorts of new friendships and whatnot.
Yeah.
Bees. And
there's definitely a social aspect to it, right? You get out there, you get to meet all of these other people, super smart people like yourselves. That's always great to meet your peers, right?
Oh, yes, it is. Like, you can make all sorts of great friends and your fellow peers who all share the same interest, yeah, which is the language and the passion for learning English and the spellings, which is wonderful. And plus, you also get to increase tremendously your vocabulary and overall knowledge. So, for example, when you go to college, then you have a first-hand knowledge of most of the topics that have been covered because you know all the words and how they relate to each other. And so
exactly.
You have that basis for the language.
Yeah, it's not just about knowing how something is spelled. You have to understand it. You have to know the history. You have to know where it comes from. And that, like you said, expands so much of your mind. It's not just about rote spelling and you know, learning the various letters that go into a word. It's so much more than that, for sure. Okay, let's do Hia's question. Hia asks, what is your favorite part of being on the TV shows? Is there any particular show that was the most fun or that stood out for you?
All right, so to be honest, I really love being in front of the camera and in being in the mic. I really love that experience. You know, it feels great. Like, especially even right now with this, it's so much fun, you know, to just, you know, indulge yourself in the experience, just having fun in front of the camera. And of course, nowadays with the COVID-19, you know, things are getting a little more interesting, especially with the virtual setup. But if I had to pick one of my favorite TV shows, one of the favorite ones I've ever done, it has to be season 1 of Little Big Shots. Steve Harvey, who is the man who introduced me to the world.
Aww.
I'm genuinely very, very grateful to Mr. Harvey. The way he interacts is incredible. And plus, I'm very lucky to have not just been featured on Little Big Shots, but also on season 2, The Little Big Shots in the UK, and also on Steve Harvey's own daytime show, The Steve Harvey Show. They had a sofa, and me as a 6-year-old was just bouncing all around everywhere. We were just jumping onto the bed.
But you're right, you know, being on camera is my passion too, and it's so much fun to speak to people like you and talk to people and this, you know, and of course indulge yourself, talk about yourself. It's like the best thing. It's so much fun, and you know yourself, so it's an easy subject. You can talk about yourself endlessly, right? So it's always a fun time to be in front of camera and be chatting yourself up.
Yeah. Plus, there's one other show that I find that was one of my best, which would be the Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Love Jimmy Kimmel.
Back in with the co-champions of the co-champions of the 2016 National Spelling Bee with Jimmy Kimmel, and then for the first time, they've never done this before, but they brought someone else on the show, and that person just so happened to be me. They're competing. It was like little teams. Co-champions versus Jimmy and me. It was so much fun.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
The best part is, at the beginning, Jimmy Kimmel introduced me by saying he was my soon-to-be adopted son, Akash Vukoti, which is really, that's an honor for me.
I love that. I love that. Okay, I'm going to interrupt you really quick because we've got some amazing questions coming in and not much time left. So, okay, I'll take these two because they're cute. I can't pronounce this, so I'm going to ask you. Matthew asked, can you pronounce Worcestershire sauce for us?
That one's good.
I don't know how to say it.
I mean, if you look at it, like, this is great. You know, Matthew, that is brilliant because it looks so much like Worcestershire, but actually, in a sheer show display of it's the epitome of British place names because it is pronounced Worcestershire sauce, sauce from Worcestershire. That much of a confusing name. It's the epitome of British place names because of its history, the English language.
Right.
Frankly, a little bit of a mess, and so is British place names.
Absolutely.
Unpredictable. They're all great words.
But yes, and I that's how I say it. I just say Worcester because I can't even be bothered to say the rest of it. But you know what? That brings us to 5 o'clock. That was a really fun question to end on. Thank you so much, Akash, for joining us. I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm. This was such a great session.
Thank you so much, Miss Dilshad, and to Bollywood Monster Mashup, and to everyone who is watching this right now and participating in this AMA session. Thank you so much. I love you all from the bottom of my heart, and I truly want to thank Bollywood Monster Mashup for inviting me over to do this very fun Ask Me Anything session. Plus, everyone watching right now, go ahead and watch the rest of the Bollywood Monster Mashup because I'm going to tell you, the next 3 days of family funly fun is going to be incredible. Plus, on September 10th and 11th, there will be concerts, so make sure to check it out. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Dilshad.
Thank you, Akash. Namaste. Akash makes my job so easy. I don't even need to plug anymore. He already did it for me. So, guys, we'll send you back to your regularly scheduled programming with Bollywood Monster Family Fun. See you later. That was so much fun, wasn't it? Thank you so much again to Akash Vukoti for spending time with us and giving us a glimpse into the life and mind of a spelling bee prodigy. Never thought I'd learn how to soca dance, meet a spelling bee champion, and learn how to paint Wardley art all in a couple of hours. This has truly been one of the most productive and heartwarming days I've had in a very long time. So thank you to everybody for tuning in for the amazing launch of Bollywood Monster Family Fun. I'm Dilshad Burman signing off for today. I'll see you tomorrow for more Bollywood Monster Family Fun.